Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. Today, I'm going to start a new project, and I know I'm working on the outfeed table and workbench, but the wife sort of came at me and said, "There's something else I want you to work on." So I got to work on that. But the project what I'm going to be working on now is right back here. And what I'm going to be doing, let me show you. And I got a whole bunch of lumber here. You can see that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a planter, 3 planters actually, with 2 benches stretched between them. And I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. But basically what we're doing is it's going down here. This is where they're going to go. So the fire or the grill is going to disappear. Right? We're going to have a planter here, stretch across with a bench, planter in the corner, stretch across with a bench, and another planter in the corner. And hopefully we can try to get this done in as record time as possible. So stay with me and let's see how everything goes. But in the meantime, stand by, I'll show you this picture of what the bench is supposed to look like. Take it easy.
So this is my first attempt at using a program called SketchUp. It allows you to lay out and plan your future designs or anything that you're willing to build. And it gives you a general idea of what it's going to look like, building materials, dimensions, a cutting list, sizes. It pretty much helps you give you an accurate plan of what your idea is going to look like. I'm still on the learning curve of using this. This is a rough little picture. I don't know how to record video to actually show you. I will probably get there, but as of yet, it is what it is. So here's what the ultimate plan is going to look like. 3 planters with 2 benches stretched between them. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and continue on with the project. Let's get all this lumber off of this truck and let's see what we can start working with on the next. Okay, so here we go.
All right, we finished all the components for the planters. We've cut all the pieces. They're going to form a 20 by 20 square. There's 3 planters, one on each corner. The benches will string between them. All right, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and put these together and start forming the planter themselves. Okay, so here's what we got going on so far. I made a couple of changes. It was going through my mind. I wasn't certain on how I wanted the actual planter box to look or be designed, and I sort of came up with something else on the fly. So I changed a little. I'll give dimensions and sizes in the descriptions below. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make the box 2 4x4s, part of the actual design. They were going to be on the inside of the box. You wouldn't have seen it, but now I'm going to make them visible on the outside. So what I did was I cut a couple of stringers. These are 17 inches. Okay, and then the bench itself. If you think about the nominal dimension of lumber, it says 2x4, but it's not really 2x4. It's 1.5 by 3.5. So if you put all those sizes together, then 2 by 6 won't be actually 18 inches. It actually comes out to 17 inches, which is good. So now the bench is going to fit right between the 2 4x4s, the 1 and the 2. All right, they're still going to be 18 feet long, but they're going to sit right inside here. So if you think about it, standing these up, can't do it. They're not connected yet, but you stand these up like this, right? You're going to have 2 pieces out like this, and then another piece like this at 16.5 inches tall, so that when you place the bench in its spot and the plank is on top like this, the total height will be 18 inches. A very comfortable seating height. So that's what we're going to work on right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and connect these, and I'm going to drill some pocket holes into these stringers, connect them into the 4x4s, and we'll go from there. All right? Little note, always measure your pocket hole depth guide. I forgot to do mine, and I went ahead and put 2 giant holes into my Kreg jig. Here's the proof that I actually took out a lot of plastic. Yeah, so measure those depth guides on those drills, guys. All right, don't be this guy. All right, it wasn't actually the wasn't the depth guide itself on the collar of the drill. It was a gauge on the side of the actual. It was a gauge on the side of the drill guide. I forgot to set that correctly. That was a problem. Much better. I got these little spacers down here. They're going to offset the wood, the stringer, so that I can go ahead and use these 5/8 inch planks to skin the outside of the planter box. And once again, 3 of these are going to turn out to be 17 inches exactly. So I may have to do just a little bit of shaving on the table saw, but it looks like it's going to work out. So we got it raised up away. Now what I'm using another 1-inch spacer block to get it 1 inch off of the floor. So essentially this is the bottom inside. Up here on the top, I went ahead and scribed the line at 16.5 inches, which will allow me to place the box of the frame of the seat against this portion up here, this stringer on the top. And when the seat is placed on top, it'll be once again 18 inches. Alright. So there we go. This is the outside, one side of the planter box. Now many of you are saying, how come I didn't use that glue that I had here? It will be used in the next one. But if you figure at 16.5 inches with a plank up on top like this, that's a pretty good comfortable sitting height for a planter or for a tear or anything like that. Oops, sorry. There'll be 3 more of these done, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the completed. But once again, sorry. This is what I mean by being skinned. These will be on the outside here, giving me a little 1/4 inch reveal right on the inside. So roughly it'll be skinned up like that. Alright? Alright, so here we are with an almost completed first planter. What I'm going to show you now is the siding that I'm putting onto it. Like I said, I found these boards at the Home Depot, and they usually have a scrap bin, and they gave me these scrap bins, these scrap pieces for free. So I think they're pretty good. They're 5/8 of an inch and roughly about 5.5 inches across. So like I said, that'll come out to about 17 inches, and they fit in here perfectly. I'll show you. So let's go ahead and we'll utilize some of the glue I didn't use before. And then following the grain or the crown of the wood, you can see it. See the way it's going? I'm going to put this facing down so that it doesn't cup on me later on. So this is the bottom style. This is the top style. I'm going to line them up with the bottom of the style. And this is an outdoor project. I'm not making it 100% gorgeous. I actually like the way they look, nice and rustic. And there you go. All three pieces fit in there perfectly on 17-inch runner. And now we're going to pin them in with some brad nails. I went ahead and made myself a story stick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a story stick, but it helps me to guide my nails. So I have little hash marks on there. There's one, there's two, and there's three, and they all line up perfectly on top of the board to give me a nice straight line, and my pins are not flying all over the place. So I'm going to line this up with the bottom style. Make sure the boards are at least lined up on the bottom a little bit. Then line this story stick up. Hold it down tight and send in my pins. Okay, and then for the top, I went ahead and made a little hash mark up here. Probably can't see it. And I turned the story stick around, and that's going to guide me from up here. And there you go, first planter complete. I have to put a couple of runners on the bottom for dirt retention, maybe a bucket or something like that, just to keep it temporarily in place. But that's what we're going to do with this thing. So it's a little weighty, but roughly that's what you're looking at right there. And then if you can see this top style right here, this is what I was telling you about. This is exactly 16.5 inches up. So the bench, when it's complete, I get a couple of little pieces here. The bench, when it's complete like this, put together, it's going to sit on the outside here, flush right inside, and I'll anchor it to this style right here. This is where people will be sitting, on the outside coming this way. But we'll get to that later. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you liked this video. Come back for some more. Take it easy.